Talk your shit. Period. What's up, y'all?
What's going on? Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Mom Circle. I'm your host, Missy.
It's your girl, Amanda.
And we are so happy that you decided to give us another listen. That means a lot.
It does.
That means a lot.
Season 2.
Season 2, and you
Real
came back.
Big, real. What's that Nipsey Hussle song?
I don't know that one,
but don't worry about it.
I like all the other ones though.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it.
Today we're gonna talk about the gentle parenting trend.
Aww.
Hype.
Aww.
Oh, let me get my glasses so I can see what it is. Oh, it's a bitch. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Gentle parenting, guys. Gentle parenting. I feel like I keep hearing this phrase used so often, so I wanted to talk about it. I want to dive into it. But before we get into that, let's get into these situations.
Period. All right. So let's see what
time.
Today's situation comes from TikTok.
You know it's going to come from TikTok.
Every time.
Every
It's
time.
going to always come from TikTok.
Because again and again. I keep seeing so many. First of all, y'all know I stay on TikTok. But it's just so fascinating. All the different things you see on there. That's why I'm like getting so many situations. Because these are situations.
Okay, so the situation from TikTok today is I keep seeing many families making TikToks with 10, 11, 12
plus. It's the plus for me.
Children. Like they have.
Yes, and I want to know how are they functioning.
They like 10, 11, 12
plus
children?
Yes, I want to know how they're functioning. I want to know how you are making it happen. What does your daily routine look like? Now, some of them post their daily routines. Like one lady, she posts her morning routine. So she posted basically her making breakfast for all of the kids. She had like 10 plus kids. Preparing all their lunches in the morning, their lunch boxes. Them coming in, she's feeding them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, ooh, it takes a special person. God knew I wasn't that special person. Mm-hmm. Because that takes a lot. I feel like that requires so much to be readily available for 10 plus kids. Mm-hmm. Shit, 5 plus kids, 4 plus kids, any kids, period. To be readily available for 1, 2, 3, 4 is a lot. Imagine anything after that. All the way up to 12.
Our grandparents did it.
And they crazy as hell.
That was normal.
I know, but that's crazy. It's not crazy.
The more
it's just that's different.
The further we go on in life, the less children people are having. Like
in some cultures.
It's very in some cultures. But it's very normal to hear people say, I don't want to have kids, or I only want 1, or maybe 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But 2 and that's it. You know, a boy and a girl and that's it.
Right,
2 girls and that's it. But my parents had, your mom had 5, right?
Yeah, my mom had 5 kids.
My mom had 4.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine having 4.
No, ma'am.
But their parents had 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of, I won't have 4.
No, and I'm really squeezing 3 out because I didn't get a girl the first 2 times. But that's my max. 3 is my max. 3 is my max. And, you know,
I won't have 4.
No.
I hate to put a limit on. I don't want to have 4 children.
I don't know if I could be able to provide them with what I need to provide them with, so I won't set them up for failure.
Of course you could. You can.
No.
You can.
Oh no.
I guarantee you.
Mentally.
I guarantee you probably had the same thoughts when you were pregnant the first time.
Probably.
And then the second time, like, 2. I'm about to have 2. I don't know if I can much do it. Yes, and you're doing a damn good job. So we are able with, you see it.
What is happening?
If you had 2, if you were pregnant twice, and each time they were twins, just like you were talking about, I think earlier.
Oh yeah.
Each time they were twins, regardless of how many children you want, this is what you got, and guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna roll with the motherfucking punches, and you're gonna make it do what it do.
I just don't know if I could keep bust that pussy open and then not tell her bring it back. I don't know if I can keep doing that. What does my vagina look like after 12 kids? What does it look like?
I don't know.
What does it look like? How do I pee? Do my pee still come out regular? Can I hold
Probably
it?
not.
What do my
Absolutely
titties look
not.
like?
It's a done deal. It's a done deal, but hey,
That's a hard pill to swallow.
Surgery.
You know, there's ways to fix those things.
There is vagina reconstructive surgery.
Yeah,
You can get some new chi-chis. You can get a whole snatch situation with a brand new booty.
That's true. That is true.
So,
But can I afford it with 12 kids?
There has to be some type of assistance. That's what I was wondering.
It has to be with 12 kids, unless I feel like even if you are like, say I was a teacher and my husband was an architect or something and he owned his own company and blah blah blah, I still feel like we're gonna need some help with 12 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about when people will be like, you know, you decide to have all those kids, it's not fair that you're getting all this government, I have to pay for your family to get government assistance and blah blah blah. What do you feel about that?
That is a touchy situation.
That is touchy.
I say that all the time. Because I'm a hard-working correctional officer, and I be getting raped, taxes, and people have kids on top of kids on top of kids, and don't want to work, don't try to work. Just this is like their scam. It's what they do. It's how they live. And they don't try, and that's the problem that I have. Like, you're not even trying to get a job. You just want to sit there and collect, and then whatever you get, you go spend it on stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Sometimes, bro, like, some of my partners will tell me they used to work in a certain department, and they would go check on these parents that are getting this assistance or whatever, and they'll have a nice car in their apartment complex, no food in the refrigerator for their kids.
Baby.
Backwards. So it just depends. So I don't think everyone is like that, but I do think that there are some out there like that that are abusing that, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It
Yeah.
is what it is. It's the life we live in, and I try not to get too bothered by things I can't control. I got a good job. They're going to make me pay. It just is what it is.
Yeah, you want to take all the little monies.
This is what it is.
Yeah, but I just want to say to those who are caring for 4+ children, shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are the MVPs holding it down. Some of y'all make it look so effortless, you know, and sometimes we see the struggle. Either way is fine, because being a parent is about both, I feel like, at times, you know. So shout out to y'all. We're going to pray for y'all's strength mentally, physically, emotionally, because that's a lot. I know it's a lot. And, you know, I'm just, what's for you is for you. You know, what's for you is for you. I know it's not for me. I know I cannot.
10 is a lot. When I think about 4 is kind of a lot. I think that's where I would stop. But I'd have to have a husband that could do no wrong. Okay? And he wanted me to give him 4 children. And I felt like, sir, you deserve it. I'm going to bless you with 4 kids. But he'd have to not do any wrong.
Because imagine, right? Imagine if the people who have all of those kids, if they separate.
I take 2, you take 2.
What if it's 10? I take 5, you take 5.
I feel like you take 7, I take 3. I birthed all 10. You take 7, I take 3.
Ooh, child.
And we can switch up the rotation, right? Give me 3 this month. I'll have these 3. Next month, I'll have this next.
Lord. That's too much.
I'm just kidding, you guys.
That's too much. Well, let's get into today's topic. I couldn't get it out, honey. Girl. This gentle co-parenting.
Gentle co-parenting?
Gentle parenting. Gentle parenting. Wow, not co-parenting. Gentle parenting. Woo. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm struggling today. Gentle parenting.
What does that entail when you say gentle parenting?
When I say gentle parenting, I mean talking more with your child to find a solution. It's way less physical. It's more talking involved. So when little Johnny does something, you do redirecting, and you talk to them to help them figure out why they were doing that or why they get the consequences that they're getting. Really stuff like that. Helping them tap into their emotions, allowing them to express their emotions, all of that. And so a lot of people are like, that don't work with all kids. My kid is not going to receive that, and it's not gonna, they're gonna keep doing what they're doing. So I see a lot of videos online where it's like their kid is doing something, so people who are making fun of it, like their kid is doing something and they're like, stop, you don't hit mommy, it's not nice to hit mommy, that hurts when you hit mommy. And the kid is still hitting the mom. She's like, gentle parenting my ass. I think it's too funny. But then I see videos with people who are working with these different breathing exercises and stuff like that to help their child calm down when they're, having an emotional moment. And I see it work. So I just say that every child is different. Every child is different. Every parent is different. We parent different ways. We discipline in different ways. I think that I would consider myself more of an in-between. Like, I do a little gentle parenting. I do a little popping. Because I feel like you need both to balance you out. I feel like in some situations I can talk to you and say, now Aiden, was that a good choice? If you would have did this, what do you think would have happened? Why do you think that mommy tells you to do such and such? Sometimes I can do that. But sometimes when it's in the moment, I don't have time to tell you, to talk to you. Especially like if you're in situations where you're about to cross the street and you're just taking off. I don't have time to like, Aiden, no, what are you supposed to do when you're about to cross the street? I'm like, get your, like, I can't, I'm sorry, I'm trying to save your life because you're about to jet across the street and he thinks he knows it all. He's at an age where he thinks he knows it all. So he's like, I looked both ways before I crossed the street. No, you still need to hold my hand. Yeah. You still need to hold my hand. So I have to snatch you back real quick because you done lost your damn mind. Come here. But there are moments where I can be like, Aiden, because he'll say, Mommy, that I'm sad or I'm mad and stuff like that, which is fine with me. I'm all about raising emotionally expressive children. Express how you feel. I don't want to raise kids who feel like they need to bottle up how they feel inside and they can't express it to anyone because they feel like they're going to be judged or blah, blah, blah. Now you push that shit out. You let that shit out. You let out how you feel because I feel like it's important for us to be expressive adults. Because guess what? When you keep that shit in, you end up with acne. You end up with acne, but you also end up with adults who don't know how to be emotionally available, who don't know how to be emotionally expressive, who don't know how to just be in tune with their emotions. And I don't want that for my children. Right. I don't, because guess what? When they get into a relationship, now that person has to deal with that. They have to deal with trying to pick through that person's brain, trying to see how they feel and all this other stuff. And I'm not trying to set nobody up for failure. So I'm okay with having those gentle parenting conversations, but sometimes I do need to pop you and let you know I meant what I said when I said it. Like, I already told you 2-3 times and you're still doing it. Okay, so now I'm about to pop you because obviously you're not getting it. And guess what? You're not about to do it again in my situation. Right. You're not about to do it again. Some situations that may not work. Popping or whooping may not work because that kid keeps ending up doing it. and you might need to, go to alternative disciplining strategies. But like when I pop you, which is not a lot, but when I do it, I mean business, and oh shit, she's serious.
Right.
So I feel like a balance of gentle parenting and popping works for me in my house.
Yeah, I'm more so, if it was what do you call it? A scale where gentle parenting was on this end and like the opposite of gentle parenting was on the other end, I would be like 75-80% away from the gentle parenting. And I think that's just because of who my son is and because of who I am. And I think he has a lot of me in him. I wasn't the type of kid that would receive gentle parenting. Okay, I'll laugh in your face.
Oh shit.
This nigga think you can sit here and tell me what the fuck to do.
Oh shit.
And I'm not gonna get popped or nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. Because clearly I'm running shit around here.
My house.
Yeah, clearly I'm running shit.
I've been running things since I was 15.
think that's how Dominic is. Like, and he's only gonna be 2, so there are times where I'll be like, well, no, there's not times where I'm like whenever he has his emotion, like he'll have a fit where he'll just start crying and get on the floor, and I don't ever pop him for that. I just kind of look at him like, well, you tripping, and keep it pushing, and I just don't respond. Like, I just don't respond to that. I just be like, get up, like,
yeah.
Get up. What is wrong with you? Because you're at an age where you can use your words. You talk to me all the time.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And if I ask you once, you hear me, I'm like, what's wrong with you? And you don't respond, you still screaming, hollering, I'm gonna leave you alone.
Because you're not ready.
I'm just not gonna do it because I don't have the patience for it, first of all. I don't have the patience. And it's like, sir, okay, well, I mean, I guess you just gonna be down there. I don't know. Because I don't know what to do. I don't know what you want from me. And you're not in a space to talk to me right now. So stop all that crying. And for some reason, I know a lot of people are like, don't tell people tell their sons not to cry. It's not okay to cry. But like in situations like that, like he just cries out of the blue. I'll be like, no crying, no crying. Like, no crying, stop crying, no crying. And then he's like, okay. No crying. Okay. And I'm like, okay, so what's wrong? And then he'll tell me, he's like, okay, no crying. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, why? Because why are you crying? You know what I mean? And I think that children sometimes they think when they don't feel like expressing themselves using words, because maybe they just don't know how to say it, they just revert to just crying, and then we try to figure out, okay, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? I'm not doing that. Use your words. Point, communicate, use your words, because I just don't have the patience to deal with that.
I was about to ask you, what if they don't, like you said, what if they don't know the words to use? But you said you could do like
hand gestures.
Hand gestures, yeah.
He's at an age where, like, there was a time where, it's funny because it happens all the time, but there's one particular time where he was like saying something to me, and I was like, what? And he was like, and I was like, what? And he would say it the exact same way, so I knew he was trying to say something.
Yeah.
He was like, no, and I'm like, I'm sorry, son, I don't know
what you're saying.
What you're saying. And then he goes, roar, and I was like, oh, dinosaur, you want the dinosaur? And he was like, dinosaur, and I was like, oh, okay, let's go get your dinosaur. Why you didn't say that? You know?
He did say that. He said, bitch, I didn't say that.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know what I mean? There's different ways you can communicate. Like, you know what I mean? Point, like, you know where the juice is at. Go to the refrigerator. Point. You want something in the refrigerator. You know what I mean? Like, what is it that you're trying to say? Help me.
Help you. Yeah.
Because all of that crying and rolling around on the floor, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. And then it's like, I get to a certain point where if he continues to do that whole episode, and I'm like, boy, no crying. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Like, What's your problem? Get up. What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with you? And I just keep asking him, like, get up, Dominic. What's wrong? Stop
Mm-hmm.
crying. What's wrong? And he's still doing it. I'm like,
Spider-Man.
this is blinking. This is our thing. This is our thing. I flick his little hand, his little finger. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to get your attention. What's wrong with you? Like, stop crying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, stop crying. Juice. And I'm like, boy, that's
All
it.
it is for some juice.
That's it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. But I definitely don't have any patience at all. But I'm not just out here popping in for
Well,
everything.
yeah. So I think I'm the complete opposite.
But I don't go, okay, dominate.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What's bothering you?
Yeah, I don't think, that's just not even in my personality.
Mm-hmm.
I would just, and maybe it needs to be a little bit, but maybe when he gets to Aiden's age where he could really communicate with me, I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah, because I can't do that with Cameron.
Yeah.
He's 2. With
Yeah.
Aiden, I can be like, Aiden, come on, talk to me. What's going on? Why did you do that?
Right.
You know, what made you do that? You know, I can do that with a 5-year-old. With the 2-year-old, I'm like, God.
They don't know why they're doing what they're doing half the time anyway.
So when he decides to be upset and throw a fit and fall on the floor, oh, it's the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, get up. First of all, I tell them, get off the floor. The floor is dirty. Get up. Get off the floor. I don't care if you're at home. Get off the floor. So I tell Cameron, get up. He gets up, but he's still crying. I'm like, if he's to a point where he's like really, really crying, I'm like, okay, come on, let's blow out the flowers. I mean, what is it? Blow out the candles. Let's blow out the candles. So we do like this. And so just to try and calm him down. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Shit. But I'm like, okay, I'm just trying it. So I'm like, what's wrong? What happened? You know? And like sometimes, like you said, he don't have the words for what it is, or he can't tell me what is wrong. But sometimes, like you said, he can come take me. Come on. He'll say, come on, mommy. Come on. And so he'll show me what he wants or what it is that's going on. And sometimes it's just he wanted something and I told him no. And I'm like, you cannot have that.
Exactly, yeah.
I said no. So I try to do some redirecting, like, let's go do this instead. Let's go play with this instead. Do you want to do this? But sometimes he have to cry it out, and it is what it is. Now, as far as crying goes, right, because we're working on this with Aiden, because if you guys were listening to season 1, Aiden is a teddy bear, okay? He will cry at the drop of a dime, my sweet baby. But, like, if somebody's, like, we were literally at a church function, and they were doing face painting. And I guess by the time we had gotten to the door, they had already accepted the last person that they were going to do for face painting. And she was like, oh, no, we're not doing any more face painting. And he broke down. And I'm like, Aiden, honey, you cannot cry because somebody told you no. Okay? Yeah. Like, if they say no, then that's what it is in certain situations. Right? Like, sometimes you have to accept no for an answer. Sometimes, as far as like in certain situations, like for jobs or something, you know what I'm saying? They say, well, you know, no, we don't think you're ready for this promotion, blah, blah, blah. And you do what you can to show them that you are ready, blah. That's different. You know, when people say no in certain situations, they mean that. So you can't cry about it. And you have to respect what they said. So trying to teach him that. And I'm like, you can't cry because they said no. You know what I'm saying? You can cry when you're hurt. When you know, physically hurt, something may have hurt your feelings a little bit. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's get through it. But when you just crying for no reason, that is what I don't. That's a struggle that I'm trying to work through because I can't take that. Like, you can't cry because your cotton balls flew off the paper in the wind. That's silly. And it may be silly to me. It may not be silly to him. It may not be silly to him, and it might be silly to me. But I'm like, honey, they're gone. You can't get them back. We can put some new ones on there. Yeah, I try to tell him we have to find solutions. Okay, crying is not gonna fix it, but we can figure out how to fix it. Yeah, it's a learning process for the both of us. I feel like, because that's when my patience kicks in. So a lot of my friends, or is it Malik? Really, it's Malik. He tells me that I have a lot of patience when it comes to parenting. And I think it's just me working with kids in general.
Yeah, probably.
Helped me out. because I have to have kids. I'm a teacher. I have to have patients. I'm a teacher. So it just transfers to my home life. And it's like, I don't know. I want to raise emotionally stable, kind, children, like adults. I want to raise them to be all of that. And I feel like our generation is in the process of doing that. I feel like, of course, you want your child to be better than you were. But so we're trying to provide them with all of these tools to help them be successful in the world, like mentally, physically, and emotionally. And so it's hard when you have that all in your head and you're trying to make sure that you're giving that to your child. So it's a lot. And I just say, as far as gentle parenting goes, you do what you can. You do what you feel is best for your child. Don't try to be like these Instagram videos. You can try a couple things. If it works for you, it works. If it don't, it don't. And that's just what it's going to be. I mean...
And stay true to who you are. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, then it's just not going to work. You're not going to stick with it because that's not even who you are.
Right.
It's like, what I mean?
This pretend person.
I'm not the most gentle parent. So I could try to do the whole breathing thing like you do a couple times, but I guarantee you that I won't be doing that all the time.
No.
Because it's just not who I am. Mm-hmm. It's not even in me to... I would never even think to be like, okay, Dominic, let's breathe. I wouldn't even die. It would never cross my mind. I'm more so like, go in your room, shut the door, sit down. Mm-hmm. Like, get away from me, figure it out. You know what I mean? When you're ready to talk, come see me. Mm-hmm. That's like more my alley. And I see it all the time. Parents will get, and I've tried this actually, get face to face with their toddler, and they're like, okay, let's do this. Let's count to 3. Let's move, blah, 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 blah. And the baby is doing it, and they getting through it, and they, it's getting somewhere. And at the end of that whole shebang, it's a brand new toddler.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm like, all right, let's blow up the flowers. And Cameron's like, still. And I'm like, okay, that's not working. Let's try something else.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So everything is a learning experience, but I do think that we need to shy away from hitting our kids for any little thing.
Yeah.
For any little stupid reason.
Come here.
When communication, I think we should substitute the whole gentle parenting to just, because it's not really a gentle thing. It's more so we're just building our communication skills with our kids.
Agreed.
We're just communicating with our kids a lot more than what we had.
Right.
Coming up as children. So it's not really gentle. It's just, I'm just really trying to figure out what's wrong.
What's going on up here?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like what's going on. I'm trying to teach them to communicate that with me. Trying to teach them to communicate that with me so we can fix the issue instead of get out my face. I don't really care what you going through.
Yeah.
Bye.
Go to your room. I mean? Right.
What, you crying? Bye.
Yeah.
I don't care why. I don't care who did it. Ain't no crying. Get out my face. You know what I mean?
Because I feel like it has a negative impact. Like even Aiden right now, like if he cries, he'll go in his room or his closet, and I'm like, no, come out here. Come on, let's talk about it. What is the problem? Why are you crying? Do you think that that's the reason that you should be crying? And then he'll say yes or no, and then we'll just keep going from there. But I don't want you to think that you have to hide your feelings. Like, you don't have to do that. Let's talk about it. Now, I told you, no, you can't have another applesauce. And you're crying. Okay, I understand that you really wanted that applesauce, but mommy told you no. Do you think that you should be crying, though? Yeah. Do you think that if you cry, I'm going to give it to you? Like, at those moments, I can talk to you about it. Yeah. Because I don't want you to be feeling like I need to go in my closet and hide and cry. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And I'm not going to say, you need to stop all that goddamn crying. I think there's limits to it. Yeah. It's like, if you're crying for something that's so silly, and stop all that crying. Do you think you need to be crying? Is that a reason to cry right now?
There's no reason to cry.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In certain situations, but still without blocking his emotions, you know what I'm saying?
Making them feel
like they don't matter. Like, oh, let me not do this because I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah, like, I better not cry.
Right.
Yeah, and that's like a very thin line that I'm
Mhm.
walking because I have to make sure that I don't shut him out like
Oh.
Dominic is doing that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because I'm like, no crying. Because I just can't stand crying kids. Like, my niece, Peyton would come over, and the rule is, ain't no crying over here. Because my sister is more, she was more of like a gentle
Mhm.
parenting, and my niece would cry about everything.
Mhm.
And it would be, to me, the silliest things you can think of. Like, you just drank your cup in the living room, and I'm like, go put your cup on the table.
What you crying for? What you doing?
What? Like, you know, just silly stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no crying, Auntie Mammoth's house, no crying.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear it.
Mhm.
If you feel like you're in a position where you need to cry, go sit in the room for a little bit and then come back.
Have your moment.
Come back and holler at me and tell me. You know what I mean? I'm not saying don't tell me what's wrong with you. Do it after you done.
Get yourself together.
Yeah, do it after you, because I'm not gonna respond to this.
Yeah, because I can't hear what you're saying anyways with all that. I can't even understand you.
I just be looking at her like this. What? So
yes.
Yeah, but I do need to work on that because, and I pray for patience every day.
Mhm.
Because I really know that I don't have any, and I need to have some, because for one, I'm a parent. For two, I'm a single parent, and so to me, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult when you don't have patience as a single parent, because you need to have patience, because not only are you being a whole mom, but you're dealing with household stuff too.
Yeah.
And so you have to try to balance being there for your children, but getting everything done. So it's like, leave me alone. I'm trying to wash the dishes. Leave me alone. I'm trying to, and I can't really do that. I have to kind of have patience with him and just not neglect his feelings and all this ooey gooey stuff. And
I think that's a good gem of the day. Patience.
Yeah.
Patience.
For sure.
Patience, and what works for you works for you.
Yeah, be true to yourself, for sure.
Be true to yourself.
That would be my gem of the day.
Try things out. If it don't work, it don't work. If it's not broke, don't try to fix it. Those are some really good gems of the day.
I think so.
Well, once again, guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us, listening to our crazy souls. If you enjoyed this podcast, share it for us, please. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Mom Circle. And we want to thank you guys again for joining us. I'm your host, Missy.
It's your girl, Amanda.
And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.